Hello and welcome to day 11. I think I'm catching up. Day 11 of Vlogmas. I'm out in my garden. The wind is howling a little bit. The sun is out, but once again, it's absolutely freezing cold. And I'm expecting that here in the southeast of England, this is exactly what the weather will be like on Christmas Day. We never get any snow, and if we do get snow, it's likely to be in February, March time, and about once every 5 years. I've got this project in mind, and that's to have a lovely wooded treescape, either to put along my kitchen table or to put out on my patio table so I can look at a little woodland scene when I'm inside in the warm and cosy. So you may well have seen before that I have previously thrifted these coffee mugs. They are, I'm not going to use them as mugs, I never have done. I find them they're too flat and open on the top, so your drink goes cold really quickly. So I think I picked these up for 50p each, a charity shop, or it might have been a car boot sale, I can't quite remember. And then I went to our local street market and picked up these 2 mini trees. Obviously they're not going to be mini if you plant a mini garden, and they will grow and grow and grow over the years. I thought they would look really good planted in my thrifted mugs, and they can be the beginning of my little woodland scene. I've also got a pair of fake trees as well. Now, when I bought these, I remember being really, really excited. They came from the charity shop. These are the Pilgrim's Hospice shop. And I was just so pleased. I thought the price was right, and they skipped into my bag. And then over the course of the last few weeks, they've been sitting in my workshop. And I've been looking at them and thinking, I paid £2.50 each of these, £5 per the pair. And really, I think the better value would have been to have bought more of the actual real trees from the street market. I thought with these I would fluff up each of the stems, and somebody has spent ages and ages wiring on these little berries. I think I might take them all off, take off the price label, and then with some pots that I upcycled last year, these were originally cream coloured little sandcastle buckets, and I did a little decal on the front which I've now peeled off. I'm going to put them in the bucket, and then they will become part of my winter treescape. Obviously, if I put these outside and wind it out like this, they're just going to topple over. So it may be that these become an indoor-outdoor woodland fantasy land, and I might even group them together with my vast collection of bottle brush trees. So let's get gardening. At this point, I should say, I am absolutely no way a gardener. My husband is the one that does the gardening. I've even had to ask him where the potting compost was, because I couldn't find it when I did my brief cursory look around. But I have in front of me potting compost. And then I have my favourite gardening tool. Don't tell. This is a serving spoon from the kitchen drawer. And just because we like to keep things posh, I think it's possibly even silver plated. And I have had this for years and years and years and years and years and years. I like to use it for my gardening. So I've got some potting compost, and I've also got some shingle. Because there's no drainage in my mugs, I don't want the plants, my trees, to become waterlogged. So I'm going to put a little bit of shingle at the bottom, and I might even dress the top surface of my planting with shingle as well, just to give it a really polished and finished look. So let's get started. First things first, I'm going to take my mug and add a spoonful of shingle, or 2 at the bottom, and then add my compost. Oh, it's got bits in it, taking the big bits out. The compost, I've discovered, must have been sort of recycled from other plantings that have been going on, so I'm just getting rid of the crocks. I can use those another time. So I filled that about halfway. And then squeeze out my little tree. You can see the roots growing through at the bottom. Give it a bit of, I think you're supposed to do this, aren't you? Loosen the roots without damaging the roots. I'm going to take that stuff off the top. Looks like I've got something that's growing there that perhaps shouldn't be there. So loosen the roots and then place it inside and squish it down. So I might take a little bit of that compost out and feed it in around the top instead. Firming it down. So my little trees have been out in the garden, just out on my patio, so they are quite moist, the root ball, but I will need to make sure that they have enough water without becoming waterlogged. And then to finish it off, because this might be going indoors, I'll take a handful of that gravel and put it on the top just to give it a little finesse. So there's tree number one. So this has got to be one of the world's easiest gardening stroke DIY projects, and it just gives it a little bit of lift. Obviously my hands are dirty. I forgot to claw my hands in soap. Do you remember on day 2 of Vlogmas I gave you that top tip from my father-in-law? Claw your fingernails in soap, and it just makes cleaning up after you've been gardening a little bit easier, and I've forgotten about that. So I'll have to get to my nail brush out when I get indoors, and I will also have to clean up the pot a little bit because it's got soil on it from where I've been playing with it. I need to let that settle, and then I can add that in to my Christmas woodland tableau. And then on with these fake trees. So I feel a little bit awful about these trees. Somebody who quite clearly spent ages and ages wiring on these little baubles, these little berries. So you may well find lots of these berry picks around at Christmas. Normally they come in a big bundle, perhaps 10 or 12 in one go, with one of the wires wrapped around all of them. And they're really sort of crunched up together. So when I'm using them as a big bunch, I do tend to fan them out a little bit. But someone has painstakingly gone through, and to add extra interest, they've even included some of the high gloss berries, and some of them have a little bit of glitter on them. So I'm going to go back indoors in the warmth, put the kettle on, and I'm going to take all the berries off and then splay out the branches to make these artificial trees look as natural as possible. And now I've taken all the berries off the trees and fluff them up, and go through my pile here, separating out my glossy berries and my glittery berries, and make them into a bunch or several bunches that I can reuse another time. So nice little bundle, and then take one of the wires and wrap it round everything else. All wrapped up, so I've got berries to use again for another project, and then just a little bit of tidying up to do. And here are my finished trees. Thanks for joining me on today's edition of Vlogmas 2021. I hope I've inspired you to pot up some fresh trees to bring indoors over the festive period, or to perhaps just revamp some of the artificial trees you might already have at home. That's all from me for now, and I'll catch up with you again tomorrow.